Hey, this is super exciting to be here. Good, like such a good opportunity to have, given that we have the Zoom option available. Um, so I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Caitlin. If you can't tell already, I'm in Australia, and I have done a lot of different things around science communication with invertebrates, and particularly spiders. So what I'm going to do is just take you through a bit of background of what sort of how I got to here and what I've done before and what I'm doing now, and how that's kind of informed my kind of offbeat approach, I'd say, to public engagement with venomous species. So we'll go over here. Okay, so I haven't actually trained as a scientist. I've trained as a writer, which is quite interesting, given that I've spent most of my working life working with live invertebrates. So while I was studying writing, I was working as an invertebrate zookeeper, first at the Melbourne Museum in Victoria, and then I've worked at a couple of other museums in Australia as well. So I've got a lot of background in, so yeah, keeping small animals, but also a lot of public speaking, so a lot of direct to public facing stuff. And I've worked in schools as well, but I also have a lot of video production and photography mixed in there. So that's kind of the mixing pot that's led to my particular approach that I have taken with things. So I did have an opportunity come up to work particularly with spiders at a spiders exhibition that was traveling around Australia. That was up in Darwin when I first caught up with it, and then over in Queensland. So that is one of the big areas where I've spent a lot of time talking to a lot of people about spiders and busting myths, and hearing from people what their concerns are and what they maybe don't quite understand about venoms and danger from spiders. And in Australia, it is a particularly hot topic because we have a particular reputation here for being the country where everything wants to kill you. And it's only a little bit true. So being in Australia, we do have that particular challenge. So we've got a lot of fear, a lot of arachnophobia here, which kind of disconnects people from nature, causes them to feel like, you know, if there's a spider in your house, you'd better kill it. That would be the most rational response, because otherwise it's going to kill you first. So that does present a particular challenge when you are trying to communicate about venomous animals to people, because they're already sort of closed off to that idea that maybe they're not exactly as dangerous as they've heard. And you have to kind of break through that barrier of fear that's being built up over a lifetime. So when I am approaching this stuff, I really am coming from a position of having to change people's minds about these animals before we can even get to sort of the real facts of things, the information, and why venoms might be really cool and useful. We've got to start with that. They don't even want to listen to begin with. Okay, so super important stuff, given that it's super relevant to us here in Australia, but also comes with its own particular set of challenges. Okay, so the first, the more traditional project, I suppose, that I've worked on is an app called Spidentify. So I developed this app with Mini Beast Wildlife, which is actually my family's invertebrate education business. We've got a real sort of, I don't know, genetic love of invertebrates or something. And it is an app that's specifically for Australia. It's information on Australian spiders, and it helps the user through the process of identifying spiders. It's an app that's, you know, for mobile devices, so it's something you can use on phones and iPads and that sort of stuff, but not for computers yet. It's been out for a couple of years now, and in 2018, we won a Whitley Award for it, which is just a nice Australian award to kind of recognize. It's usually for recognizing other kind of nature publications. So it was really nice to have an app recognized amongst like some really awesome books. So that was very, very modern stuff there. Okay, so basically what we did with this app is we were getting loads of inquiries every single day, like overwhelming numbers of inquiries, messages coming through, emails coming through, asking us like a blurry picture of a spider. Usually it's missing a couple of legs and it's like 3 meters away because people don't want to go near it. And they're like, what is this? Is it going to kill me? Is it going to kill my dog? The problem is that it was like always the same 3 spiders, but no one knew how to get that information, where to even start to get that information. And these are like really common spiders. These are spiders that live in everyone's houses that they're going to see every day. And there's just a huge lack of knowledge about them. And so what we did, so that's my dad there in the photo with me, we rented out a van and we traveled the entire length of the east coast of Australia in a week. And we took photos of spiders. And that's all we did for the week. And then when we got to the end, we chucked them all in an app, made that process sound a lot quicker than it was, got all the information on them. We just went, okay, what's the most common spiders that people are coming across? What information can we give them? And how can we help them to identify them themselves so they're not feeling like completely overwhelmed by this process? And really making the information accessible and relevant to people who have no scientific background whatsoever. So what the app looks like, it kind of takes you through the process. It's not a photo recognition app because I didn't want to give people the impression that you could actually do that, because there are like over 10,000 species of spider in Australia. Most of them are not even discovered yet. Like it would be impossible to do that. But what we wanted to do was kind of help people through this questionnaire where they can get suggestions of what that spider might be based on where they're finding it, what it looks like, what it does. But the most important thing for us was sort of to get across the huge diversity of spiders in Australia, flood them with this information and say, look, there's more to them than you think. Sure, there are some with dangerous bites, but look at the huge number of spiders that have a venom, which is not dangerous to people, and look at all the other interesting things about them. So we've really just chucked so many species in there and really given information about the bites, even when they're not dangerous. So like hopefully once people have got this app, it has calmed them down quite a lot about the spiders they're finding around their house, because they know they're not going to kill them, but also just given them a better sense of the venom of these spiders in general, and that and they're not just a threat because they have fangs. So that was really what we were aiming for, and we have found that we've converted a lot of people from serious arachnophobia to being a lot more chilled out about these things once they've just seen this information in a way that's accessible to them. So that's the more traditional project of mine. I did that. I worked at, as I said, the Spiders exhibition, did a lot of public speaking at that point, a lot of answering questions. And then from that, I sort of, on the side, I started photographing and posting my photography online. And I've ended up with this project called She's Got Legs, which sounds pretty ridiculous to start with. And it really is. So the major project that I work on now is a project that is something that takes the approach of using humor and positive emotions to get past that block that people have with the fear and the myths. So I'm aiming to position people from the start to receive these facts before I'm just pummeling with them with, it's not dangerous, it's not going to hurt you, because I found that really wasn't working. And what was working is when I demonstrated I suppose a love of these things, and I showed people how I've got a spider on my face. That's pretty ridiculous, but the fact that it can walk on my face and I'm not scared and it's not going to bite me, and that's actually a really positive experience. So that's what I really want to show to people through this project. So what I do is I I put my photos on social media. So I use a lot of Facebook. That's how it started off, and Twitter and Instagram. And then I branched out to using YouTube. And I have now started funding the project using Patreon, and I do it full-time, traveling around Australia when I'm not stuck in lockdown, and turning these things into just, quite factual, but also quite ridiculous posts, stories, videos that are a vehicle for information that's going to make people come away with a really positive feeling, even though they're looking at, oh no, I've snuck an ant in there, sorry guys. Even though they're looking at things that they're used to hating or feeling that are disgusting or dangerous. So I did want to show you some of those little bit of excerpts of the videos to kind of give you an idea of how I do this. What we've got here is one of the absolute biggest draws of the Chiligger area for me, and that is the giant rock huntsman.
Caitlin, it's very quiet my end. I can't hear the sound.
Yeah, okay. I'm not really sure how to fix that.
Maybe you can give a voiceover of what's going on.
Okay, I might have to do that because I seem to have it on full volume. It's coming through mine really loud. Yeah, so I've got a, this is really distracting. This is a Chiligger rock huntsman. It's a really huge species of huntsman from the rocky areas, cave areas of Chiligger, which is in northwestern Queensland. And I'm just, this is quite difficult. I'm not going to do that. So this species, Chiligger, is, I might direct you to watch those videos on YouTube if you would like to. I do have a YouTube channel which is under the, it should come up if you're looking for my name, and She's Got Legs. But essentially, I mean, I've given a bit of information there about how, it's, I'm not going to touch it because it's not dangerous, but not because it's not, hang on, let me go again. I'm not going to touch it, not because I'm afraid of it, because it isn't actually dangerous, but because it was going to run away really, really fast. So just focusing on information that isn't about how dangerous the spider is, giving information that's kind of separate to this idea that it's going to bite people, because that's the first thing and the only thing people think about when it comes to spiders usually. And I try to just give a little bit more information. Now I had more videos, but that is not going to work. So we might just have to wrap it up there.
You're fine. You had 1 minute left anyway, so.
Yeah. Yes. All right. I've trailed off really confusedly there, but yeah.
You've given me a good point though to bring up, is that all of our, if you're interested, our speakers can put their social media, etc., and other links in the chat. Some of the speakers have already given me links to their resources that are going to be made on the Venom's website. So you can go to the download section of the Venom's website and it will be there for a while for you to look at.